Hi, friends. This is James and Kara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
And us
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Hey friends, Kara here. And I had a chore to do today. I gotta go get water. We haul water here on the homestead. And a friend of mine was like, well, a lot of people don't know what that is. You should kind of share it with the world because that's kind of what you're doing. And frankly, we're at home on the homestead right now. So why don't you come with me and I'll show you how we do the thing. All right, you guys. So I've got to get the truck over to our water tank. Norman and Bella have elected to join us. They usually do. Anytime we're kind of romping around the property, they do. I asked Jules if she wanted to come with me, and she ran in the house. She was not feeling it. So back in the day when we were living on the homestead full time, we had a trailer just set up with a water tank in it already, and we had to just basically back up to the trailer. And, oh, that's gonna beep because I don't think this truck has a turn the volume off. Well, you guys are stuck listening to it. I got the tailgate down so I can see where I'm going. So that's the beep you're hearing. So we used to just back up to the trailer and just go get our water. But since we've come home, we don't have that set up anymore. So I actually have to put the water tank into the back of the truck. So that's what I'm doing right now, backing up to the water tank so I can get it in the back of the truck. It's actually easier for me because I can't back up to a trailer. Maybe I'll be able to in this truck because it's got a pretty good backup camera, but I've never been able to back up to a hitch before. So this is actually easier for me because I can do the chore. James is actually working right now, and so this typically would be a chore that he would do. He kind of typically takes care of the stuff outside the house. I do the stuff inside the house, but today I want to take it off his plate. It's his Friday. He thinks he has to get water this weekend, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the water for him so he doesn't have to. So this is actually the least fun part of the job, or the most difficult part for me. I got to get this tank up in the back of the truck, and it's almost impossible to get all of the water out of the tank. So there's a little bit of water still in there sloshing around. So it's weight moving around while I'm trying to move this thing around. So don't laugh at me too hard while I mess around with this. That actually wasn't so hard today. I am feeling like a badass bitch right now. All right, let's go for a ride. All right, so I've got the water tank in the bed of the truck, and I got the dog strapped in, with the exception of Jules. She didn't feel like going on a car ride today. Norman and Bella, I don't know if you can see them. They're sitting co-pilot over here. And I made sure the tailgate's closed. We're all secured in, so we're gonna make the ride down the road. So we live about 2 miles down a dirt road off the main highway, Highway 64. And then we're probably about 7 miles, give or take, north of the water station that we go to. So really, all in all, it's about an hour chore, I'd say, depending on traffic, how many other people are using the water station when we go. And all of that, just because of the time it takes to get down the dirt road and then, filling it and all of that. So I've had a lot of people ask me over the years why we would choose such a difficult lifestyle. A lot of extra chores, a lot of extra things almost to think about, especially when you consider things like your electricity. We don't have an unlimited amount of electricity. We actually have to consider how much we use based on what we have left in our batteries and how much sun we've had for the day, and of course things of that nature. And water is the same category. It is kind of like permanent camping, our off-grid situation. There are different places in the country where you have a well, so you would essentially have unlimited available water. We're in the Arizona desert, so that's not so much of an option for us. So we do what we call haul water, and then we have to go get the water and bring it to our house, which is very similar to what you would do when you're camping. We just do it on a much bigger scale. So the tank that I have, it says it's a 275-gallon tank. We were put 250 gallons in it, and that's just to transport the water. And then we have a 550-gallon cistern at home that I'll put the water into once we get back. I really don't think that it's a more difficult lifestyle, though. I feel like you trade chores for more materialistic things. I feel like when I was living in a city, doing the big city thing, trying to climb the corporate ladder, my life was actually a lot more complicated, and I felt like I had a lot more responsibilities. I felt like my life belonged to other people a whole lot more than it belonged to me. So essentially detaching from that and moving off grid and kind of isolating myself at first is really how it went, really helped me find myself ultimately. So it's really been a beautiful journey. So hauling water is an extra chore. That's not the funnest chore in the world, but it's for myself. It's for my own freedom and for my own love of life that I get to do it. So I don't mind it so much. It kind of, when it's super busy week, if I was working right now also, which would be our typical life prior to this last year that we've started traveling, James and I were both working full time and we had to get water, it would kind of be a headache. A lot of the time, James would take the water trailer with him to work and then get water on the way home from work or something to that effect. Try to put multiple trips into one. And that's kind of the way you do things out here anyways, because we're kind of isolated. About 25 minutes south of the Grand Canyon entrance, there's nothing out here if you've been out here. It's an hour and 10 minutes or so, depending on traffic, for us to get a lot of supplies that we need in Flagstaff, which is the town that's got, Walmart, Home Depot, myriad of grocery stores, and, anything else you could really want for the most part. So whenever we do go do anything, we make sure we're putting as many things into one trip as possible. I just remembered that it is James's Friday, and I'm coming into town. Like I just said, we like to kind of knock out everything at once, and I bet that man would like some ice cream on his Friday night. So I'm going to pull in really quick over to the Chevron down here before I go get water, because doing extra things with that extra 275 gallons worth of weight in the back of the truck isn't fun. So I'm going to go grab him some ice cream real quick. And maybe a beer or something. I don't know. We'll see. And I'll be back to you. They are out of ice cream at the Chevron, so I got him a beer as a consolation prize. Oh no, James getting a Coors Light. Whatever will he do? All right. Off to get some more water. All right, so we're here at the water place, and luckily there's nobody behind me in line yet, so hopefully we can get this done fast. We're messing with the camera, of course, that makes everything take a little bit longer. But the water station's kind of cool. It's kind of like our little community spot. You can see we've got a little bulletin board up here, kind of just whatever anybody needs, or, people offer services and stuff. So I'll get this set up here and see if you guys can watch me do the thing. So really the hard part is climbing up here and getting this in the water tank to start pumping. I guess I'm getting better at it because I just said that was the hard part. I just jumped right up. We had a little bit of movement while we were rolling. Scoop this over a little bit. For no reason other than it makes me feel better that it's going to be balanced. All right, let's get this shit going. put in our little code and got the water going. So the water's doing its thing, 250 gallons. It probably only takes like 5 to 7 minutes. It doesn't take a long time at all. So that'll fill up and then we'll roll out and I'll show you guys how we do it at home. Oh my God, you guys, wind. So on my way back home from getting water, I decided to stop at Raptor Ranch, which is the old Bedrocks, if you've heard of it, old Flintstones place on the 64 on your way to the Grand Canyon. They have some other stuff there, and I was hoping maybe they got some ice cream. I got James some ice cream for his Friday after work. So I'm getting some chores done for him, and I got him an ice cream treat. I mean, wife of the year, I mean, why not? Right, see you soon. All right, let's see how this works. Every girl's best angle is up, right? So obviously this is not set up very well for videoing, but I'm going to show you kind of how we get the water into the tank. And essentially our system just works. We've got this big tank here behind me. So I put the water in here, and then James has set up a system with a 12-volt water pump, or a RV water pump essentially. And that's plugged into electricity. You can see a little bit of the solar panels up here behind me. And then from there, it just works like a normal house. We turn on our faucet and water comes out, you know, on demand, just like any normal house would. Literally the only difference is we just have to get the water ourselves. So let's get this thing hooked up. That thing's a little bit more empty than I thought it was. I used a lot more water this week than I thought I did, but that's all right. We got plenty of water. See if I can adjust that a little bit there. All right, so I've got a little handle here. I just open it, and then the water just gravity feeds into the tank. I'm just gonna make sure my hose isn't gonna pop out here. It's no fun when the hose pops out. So again, I mentioned it a little bit. A lot of people ask, you know, why would I want to live such a difficult lifestyle? And I really feel like the freedom that it offers me is worth more than I can even express. It is superficially more difficult of a lifestyle living off grid, but kind of like camping, you know. It's camping's a lot of work to set up camp and to get everything you need to be comfortable, to get water, and to cook is a little bit more difficult, and cleaning up after cooking is a little bit more difficult. But the freedom you have when you're in the woods, and just the way that you feel when you're in nature and being in these different beautiful places, it's worth all of the extra work that you have to do to have that experience. And that's really how I feel about living off grid. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's nice when we get to be on grid, you know, when we visit friends or staying with Ryan and Deidre up in Idaho, going to hotels, you know, not having to worry about water or electricity is always a fun luxury when we have it. But I don't think I would trade in having to have the corporate job to afford to have a normal life. The amount of freedom this simple lifestyle gives us, as far as being able to travel and create this podcast and live the life that we get to live, it's priceless. It's really there. You just can't put a number on the value. You really can't. It's you know, and everybody has their own thing, right? Their own thing that they're dying to do, that it's eating at them. And for us, off-grid was James's. And it was hard for me at first. I really struggled with it. Anybody who knows me before I moved to northern Arizona, I was a materialistic party girl, really. And I spent most of my money on partying or trying to look pretty. And moving off grid, all of those things weren't really realistic anymore. Like I mentioned earlier, we live too far from anywhere that you can't just go to the store for something loosey-goosey. So I definitely am not partying anymore. it became silly to be able to work around the property with fake nails, and getting my hair done seemed so unimportant and superficial. Doing makeup every day just wasn't worth the water of washing it all off my face at the end of the day. It just all started to seem wasteful and unnecessary. And it was hard at first. It essentially became a dark night of the soul for me. It was truly life-changing. It was like ripping a Band-Aid off on becoming essentially who I should have been all along. I had to remove the shield, if you will, or remove the outer layers in order to get to the inner layers. And that was only the beginning for me of the transformation. It's been years, different circumstances throughout the years, or different events throughout the years, have catapulted us into the next level of our evolution, essentially. The car accident last year being one of them, family drama another. It's been a real beautiful journey of transition in life. And if you look back on your life, I'm sure you can find a similar timeline, essentially, where you've had major events that have created major transitions in your life, or major changes in your life that you never foresaw coming. And at the time, those things may have seemed like very terrible circumstances, but in the end, you came out a stronger and even better person than you were to start it. Or it put you in a better place in the long run, or some kind of growth happened. And if not, perhaps you should start looking at those negative circumstances as how can you grow from it. If you can't find moments where your difficult times has caused you to grow or become a better version of yourself, maybe it would be helpful for you to dig in when you do come across hard times and start asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I come out better? 'Cause I think that's all any of us can do to try to be a stronger and a better person. It sounds like, and it looks like, we are just about done our water. So that's it, you guys. It's as simple as that. Not as crazy and not as hard as a lot of people think it to be. Just an extra tour you have to do. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you learned something, and maybe it made you excited to realize that you might be able to do something you didn't know you were capable of doing. Because last year I wasn't getting water. I didn't start getting water until recently. That was James's chore. It was something that I didn't think that I could do. And you can do anything you want. I appreciate you guys listening. Love you. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at kerouacscruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.